3.
Yes.
Well, welcome everybody back to now we're the Golden Playbook. Finally,
Yes.
we got the name, so welcome and thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the support, all the questions that we've gotten asked. This is so much fun for us. We love it.
Definitely.
So I appreciate you guys. Lulu, please.
So we usually have like 3 to 5, but today we have like 7 questions. So thanks to you guys for being involved and asking Manny and myself questions. Yeah. So keep them coming, keep sharing, keep subscribing, you know, all that stuff. And if you haven't seen previous posts, look through them, and then that might spark some more questions.
Yeah.
So we're starting off with all the way from Korea, I believe. So this team specifically, sometimes they're playing man-to-man coverage, and they like to play with their leverages, right? So when they're covering the slot receiver, they like to play outside shade, which sometimes I understand why you want to play outside shade, right? So depending on the situation. So what he was telling me was that he plays here, and he tells somebody, like, if the spacing is, like, wider, this is not a good example. If the spacing is wider, right, so there's a lot of field here, right, he says that sometimes they put the linebacker outside shade, right, but he says that sometimes, which makes sense, the linebacker gets beat on ins or post. So he asked, like, if he should just scrap the outside shade or should he change it, or like what we think he should do.
I mean, I would assume they're getting beat all the time from this. I mean, you're already chasing. You're putting your. I mean, football is all about leveraging, right? So it's all where you position yourself.
Yep.
You know. So if you don't mind, I'll
go ahead.
Go,
pop it off.
Let's just pretend, right? This is just a formation. This is why I'm so adamant about doing the twins read when we go off the center. So if this is the center, one of the things that I like to do is just anticipation of calls, but already on this base formation. For me to go man in this, I mean, it would have to be depending on the situation, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe if they're spread out too wide and something like that. But if they're just kind of like a standard formation, I already told you I'm going to go off of the center read formation that I like to do. So by the way, I go center read in a way where we have our linebackers, safety, we have our DB, and then we have DB, right? So this will be our standard formation, right? Like in a sense. So what I'm saying is that as a safety, the way that I'm going to go ahead and cover this, we're reading off of this guy here in the middle. Okay? If the center comes this way, then I'll usually have this center shoot up. Now, okay, you're saying, oh, well, what if the offense is already adapting to this, then I'll make an adapt. But usually off of the base formation, I'll go off of this. So then this person will shoot here. As a safety, I will get over the top. And now this linebacker, hold on, I think I did it backwards here.
Yeah, this would be a rusher.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah, I was like, wait a second. What is this actually? Yeah. There you go. Thank you, buddy, for fixing that.
No worries.
So it would be sliding over to where the actual coverage is going, and then as a linebacker, then they're just gonna back off with this. But then let's pretend like this placement is important. You have to line yourself up at the very worst on top of him.
Yeah.
You can't be outside shades. It's just so. If my suggestion immediately would be like, scratch that outside leverage, because I'll keep going to that until you adjust, and you're going to get 10, 12 touchdowns.
And listen, like if exactly what Manny said, like if I'm in man-to-man, I'm trying to win my rep, right? So playing one-on-one, the chances are better for the offense to win, right? So what are higher percentage throws? What they're getting beat on, the ins, the posts, the drags. So if I'm trying to make this the lowest percentage possible for me to win my one-on-one matchup, take away the inside, and you can live with the outs. You can live with the corner routes or the comebacks, or because the sideline's your friend. You know what I'm saying? So one of the parts that makes safety hard is there's just so much field. You know what I mean? So you can be outside leverage sometimes. I do it sometimes, but that's if like I watch film, or if they're just beating us on a lot of outs, then you adjust to outside leverage. But your base should be taking away the inside, because your alignment is just so important. Because if you're lined up outside, I don't care how fast you are. It has to be a bad ball, or you have to maybe hold them or do a little veteran hook, you know what I mean, and squeeze. But it's very tough to win outside and on an inside route.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, I'm actually going to make a little adjustment. I wasn't thinking clear, so now that I'm back on, my mind is clear. I wouldn't line it up this way. So correcting myself, it would be rusher always rush from the twin sides. Remember, I always like to do that, and then the linebacker will be here. So in a sense, I'm kind of creating like a little triangle sense here, right? And then as this person shoots here, this is telling the linebacker, okay, he's shooting this way. I'm just going to shift over back in this angle here. safety shoots over, and then this guy comes up on this dart or whatever it might be. If he comes and China's back, he'll follow, right? But then we're picking up. You see how the linebacker would immediately be picking up this drag that he was talking about that they have difficulty with, and then I'll be picking up this fly, and he'll be picking up the dart. So you can see where that immediately picks up that play. Now, if they do see that, like, okay, this guy's shooting up, they're cheating, and then, hey, just dart it, then we'll make an adjustment off of that again. So I can see where you could be like, oh, but what if? We could do this all day. What if? But just based off of that, that would be how I would handle that. I would get away from that man-to-man unless you're like, man, we're 5 yards from the touchdown. Lock up. This is it right here. Situational. But overall, that's how it would start.
Nice.
Yeah. Just up, brother.
All right. Number
Número 2. Okay. Let me see if I can get un papelito.
Oh, yeah. I'll stop right here. This team likes to run, same question as the person from number 1. By the way, great questions. So they like to run BANJO, and he was asking if what are like the do's and don'ts of BANJO, like should he get out of it? Is it okay to run it? Stuff like that. So
what is BANJO so everybody
knows true.
What's BANJO?
Good job. So BANJO is just a word, different people use different terms, like banjo, combo, whatever. So BANJO is just pretty much let's say two receivers are like this, and then a corner and a safety, or just two DBs, linebacker, safety, linebacker, corner, whatever it may be. You guys are doing a 2-on-2. Even though the field is obviously 5-on-5, the formation calls for a certain time where you feel like it's favorable to call a BANJO. Like, for example, 2 guys wide, maybe 2 guys tight. Sometimes I like to call man outside and then BANJO the middle. So that's what a BANJO is. Or sometimes when it's close to the red zone, people BANJO. Anyways, so he was asking, is it okay to do this? Like, what are the do's and don'ts of running a BANJO coverage?
So in a sense, splitting the field either left, right, or high, low, in a sense?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, cool.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love this. This is one of our common things that we do here, for sure, and in the United States. And I know in Miami, this is one of our favorite things. So the question was how to stop a play specifically, or where to run it?
Yeah, so like the do's and don'ts are like what to be careful with. Is it okay to run it a lot? Yeah. They like to run it a lot, he told me.
Sure. So mind if I start out?
Yeah, go.
So one of the things that I always like, let's pretend like these two are the picture, right? So it's just me and this guy. One of the things that you want to do is that I always try to, at least if they're depending on how close they are, but depth, right? Like I try to at least be like, hey, make sure that we're on the same depth, so you can see if they're going to cross over. We see it happening in front of us, right? So that's one of the things that I'm always adamant about. And one of the do's and don'ts is understanding, right? Like an overload, right? Let's say they go this way.
Yep.
So who picks up who?
Yep.
This isn't something that I'll initially say. It's like, hey, if they come over, maybe I'll stay on this part, we'll stay on the low part, and then you go over the top, right?
Yep.
But then you got to follow, right? Understanding that if this guy comes over, I immediately got to start shading over the top.
Yep.
So understanding that responsibility beforehand.
Right.
So then anticipation. But of course, there's always a tap to adapt, right? Because then they see you, then they'll do a post corner and mess you up. But it's always, the basis of this will be that. And same thing going the opposite way. If they go towards this side, right, then this guy shoots up, I get over the top. That's just kind of one of the base ones that I always keep when it came to doing BANJO.
Yeah. So the depth, like Manny was saying, the depth of where you guys are lined up is crucial, because exactly what Manny says. So if this person's going to shoot over to this corner, if you're like at 3 to 5, you're cooked. Like there's no way you can do that. So you should, like, just like we've spoken in other videos, give or take 7 yards is a good starting point. But if someone's pushing vertical, and you guys spoke about the safety shooting down on this out, then the safety can be at 7 with a slow pedal and then shoot. But this person, you're at 7. Once you see this person go there, where should your eyes go? To the next route, right? It's only 2 people. You're banjoing, right? So once you see this outgoing, this guy is screaming, that's you. You know what I mean? So that's a terrible feeling in BANJO when you're like, that's the guy I need to cover, and he's running away from me, So BANJO isn't always perfect. Going back to the question, sometimes a BANJO is very easy. Sometimes it can be tough. You know what I'm saying? So talking about, do we chase China or do we pass it off to each other? If they flood this way, does this person sink back and you hug the out? Or does this person stay and you hug the corner over? Those are little things that you need chemistry to run good BANJO. Like, it's not just something you can just do off the couch and, because BANJOs can look bad too. Yeah. Just like anything else, there's levels to it. You know what I mean? So
for sure.
So the biggest thing, just line up correctly, for sure.
Yeah. The important things for sure is alignment. It's 100% making sure you're on the same page, because this is all about chemistry, for sure. Yeah. So there's no assumptions. It's, hey, when they do this, and that, make sure you guys all are on the same page.
Mhm.
Now, could it go wrong? Of course, there's a possibility that it could go wrong.
Of course.
And which way's the right way? Like, either this guy's taking short. Honestly, it's a anticipation game. If I see that they're picking up a lot of this motion, and then okay, I'll tell them, hey, this time you go back. I'll come up on the out.
Yes.
You know, like if I see that in a second they're trying to catch it before it gets you or trying to back around.
Right.
You know, it's just anticipation of the game. But
Right.
alignment, being on the same page, that is
Yeah.
the top two things that I would recommend when you're running these things. And practice it over and over, and you're gonna make mistakes.
Yeah.
But fix it, and then hey, next time, make sure that we're on the same page.
And also, you might have a different set of rules. It could be the same formation, but you might have a different set of rules in the red zone versus open field.
Oh yeah.
Because this is this being front cone, back cone is different from him running a corner all the way down the field.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So where you are in the field can be an indicator like, all right, if we're in the red zone, all right, I can get this back cone easy. But if this is open field, that's really hard to do. Like you're here. So it depends on like which way you want to play and where you are on the field too.
Yeah. I'm going to draw a play because this one just came to mind, and this was actually probably the one that, I don't want to say give me trouble, but it was probably the one that would cause the most confusion. Because this is easier, right? It's like you can kind of, after a while, you could just flow, you go with the flow of the play.
Yeah.
But I would say, and it's a simple play, and with this one, it was always this one, right? Like where you lined up in a sense like this, and then over the top.
Yep.
Because then it's like, oh, but like this guy for some reason, he's like, man, I felt like he's coming to my side. Why don't I?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, well, so this one is the one, like this specific play, I can see where it could cause a lot of people a little bit of a headache.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would just tell you, hey, you gotta trust. You gotta trust. Like, hey, I'm coming up.
The best route combinations are the ones where both people feel like they can jump a route, which is what causes the touchdown. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So if that ever happens where it's a good play combination and both of you feel like you can get the same route, both of you cover deep and you live with this. If you're ever not sure, both of you cover what's causing the touchdown, like just play deep to short, and then you talk about it like, look, if this happens again, we do X, Y, Z, if you're not sure.
Yeah. And I'm going to share a different variation of it that it was probably my adaptation to when people started catching on how we play it.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Jaime were really good at this. This was one of our money things that I would do with Jaime because Jaime was really good linebacker with his long arms that he would have. The way that we would do it, so this would be a variation of that, right? So let's say that they're stacked, right? Instead of doing the left and the right,
Mm-hmm.
I always did this.
Oh, high-low. Yep.
High-low. And then I immediately, I'm like, hey, your first route short, you jump on it. Where there was this guy going this way, this guy going this way, this guy going this way.
Mm-hmm.
Any route short, and then you play off of that. So if he went this way, I already knew this was my other guy.
Yep.
So that was just a variation of it. It's a little bit more difficult because...
And this is higher IQ stuff. This is really tough.
But it's just a variation, right? Because then after a while, then if you line up like that, people are going to be like, what the hell are you running?
Right.
Like, who's covering who?
Yeah.
So now they're trying to adapt to you again. Like we talked in the previous videos, is about who's adapting to who. So this will be another variation of it that nice. I like to do that one. That was my one.
I love that.
Ones.
And then biggest thing here, just make a decision quickly when you're the low person, because he's waiting on you to make a decision.
Yeah. So that was just another variation. I figured it came to mind as I was.
No, that's beautiful. That's awesome.
Awesome, brother. That was good.
All right, so next one.
Yeah. Did you ever run that?
High-low? Yeah, sometimes. I've done high-low before. When it's, like we said, like it's very fluid. Like some situations we're like high-low, other situations like, we'll go left, right. Yeah. But definitely. So this one, he actually sent pictures of, this is the first time doing this, and I love this. So if any of you have questions and you have an actual video or a picture of a play, we love
please.
Like the visual. Instead of doing hypotheticals, we love the actual.
Yeah, the actual play.
Yeah, so that's great. So he was asking, like, all right, we run 2-1. We run 2-2, it doesn't work. We run 3-1, it doesn't work. So just like I spoke to him on Instagram, there's no one-size-fits-all when it comes to defense, but we can go over what we would do in this scenario. So there is a clear, all right, this person darts, the slot goes post corner, all right, the last person clears. So this is like a variation of a flood, kind of. Mm-hmm. So floods are always a headache. 3 to 1 side is always a headache. So he was saying in 2-2, they would leave certain holes. He said in 3-1, it was tough, which I can see why. There's 3 deep routes. Mm-hmm. So you want to start? I start.
Sure, go ahead.
All right. So in a 2-2, right? Even if it's a staggered 2-2, this is tough because this is where they're going to end up. This is not how they line up, right? So you end up with this zone, right? This zone, and this zone, right? So, yeah, this person can get this first dart, but this person's covering grass. And then these people have 3 deep routes to worry about, right? Which is tough. So if I were to guess, that dart goes here immediately. More than likely, this person's going to go to the bomb because this is going to take a little longer to develop. And then it will be really hard in a 2-2, right? So in a 3-1.
So 2-2. No go.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah. Because that little spot, that window is going to get hit.
Yeah, every time. That's really hard. So then 3-1, right? He would have to carry this. You know, the high-low goes this way. Similar situation. This corner, either the linebacker can take the dart if you talk about it, and then linebacker takes the dart. But usual rules, when the safety sees the high-low this way, usually safety shades, right? Because that's what you're supposed to do. The corner jumps the dart. Safety goes over, but then now that puts this person in no man's land as well. Perfect scenario. Hindsight's always 20/20. This person, the linebacker, shoots the dart. Then these 2 people split the deep, but I guarantee you, if we're running 3-1, this person's going to think, I have over-the-top help. They're going to jump the dart, and we're going to be with 2 deep routes.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening.
Yeah, speaking from experience, for sure. Because no safety likes to see 2 deep routes when you're by yourself in the back.
So 3-1.
Yeah.
Again, anticipation that this is the play.
Right.
You know, if this is the play, yeah. Again, the answer to me, it would be the center read.
Yeah.
That just immediately puts it into that center. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if that was an option that he had in there.
We'll tell him.
But if you don't mind me joining, it would be the adaptation of rushing from here. Again, linebacker out here, corner here, safety up top. Dart centers, this one comes here, safety's already over the top. Now the linebacker, you got to understand with him, his job already, once this guy goes here, he goes back. Yeah. So then already, in a sense, yeah, it's still going to feel like there's 2 deep, but you'll have 2 deep people already going back. Yeah. So the linebacker, this is the part when it comes to this, he doesn't just always just roam around in the middle. He's got to understand that in this specific defense, if the star goes this way, his job is to go back, like automatically. That's the way that I always played that. It's almost like I played like a 2 deep zone with this person robbing short. Yeah. And vice versa, if it came this way, this guy shoots up, 2 back. So it's kind of like I have a two deep zones. Yeah. So in a sense, we need a smaller eraser. Where is the eraser, man? I think it's probably somewhere.
I've seen it in a while.
We'll find it. So in a sense, we're having, just like you displayed, the 2 deep zone. But when you're 2 deep, you can see this, right? I got to see. It's like, oh my God, this guy's I got to stay here. Yep. So he's going to help. So that will probably be your best bet when it comes to that, is to have 2 people covering the deep. Yep. You know, that would be my adaptation.
And going back to just like our previous questions, alignment is so important. Oh. If you're at 3 to 5 yards, no shot at all.
Exactly.
But if you're at 7 and you see the center goes away from you, you turn as a linebacker, you turn to the route concepts, and then you see the slot screaming. That means you got to go. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only way, guys. Yeah,
but if I might just give my 2 cents on something, I hate this play. And I hate it just offensively because, number one, this person probably has to be the fastest guy on the field for you to be able to clear that out. Because most likely you guys are going to be running the same speed and you're going to end up somewhere in the same area. Yep. So as an athlete, if you have a hell of a safety, he probably could make a play on one of these 2, which I have. Like sometimes you see it, you're like, no, I could cover 2 people at one time. Right. So this guy has to be extremely fast, or this guy extremely slow. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, no. Yeah. So it's like, I don't like this concept. But
this is like a flood variation, but instead of doing an out to that side, they did like a
That's it. The post corner, I hate it. Yeah. But if I could understand it still being the same issue with a deep out, right?
Right.
In that sense. Okay. So that's where I can see but that post corner play, oh my goodness, that is very tough. Like this person has to be extremely fast for that to open. Yeah. But I understand the concept of it. Okay.
Yeah, and then they had a second.
Okay.
They had a second example.
Sweet.
Of how.
So I hope that helped. I hope that helps.
I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. Definitely don't run 2-2, 3-1. Try to give that a shot with the center read and understand. And really have to. This is something like when you do center reads, you have to make sure you communicate with the linebacker. Like, hey, you're going to be reading the center, so that way they know that they have enough depth to be able to play the coverage. Because linebacker, the things that people think of me, the linebacker, I'm covering just this middle area. Sometimes they're going to have to get back.
No.
because of situations like this.
What I hate to hear is, "Oh no, I was covering my zone." It's not Madden. It's not Madden.
Yeah.
You're not in a little yellow zone.
You can get out of there.
Like things, yeah. According to the route concepts, there's gonna be different things you need to do on different plays. So never, never think of it as like Madden, where you just cover a zone, you just cover grass.
Right,
That's never the answer. Your coach will snap on you. I promise.
All right, so same question.
Same question, just different. Different formation. Yep.
Again, I go back to the same read. It's like
I know.
That's why like that. Can you create a play to beat that defense? Of course.
Yeah.
But that's a basic foundation. You can see how that could cover so many plays.
Yep.
And you can probably cover 70% plays. Like, and then people adapt it, but then you can make an adaptation to that too.
Yeah.
Again, I would, if I just draw it out again, so in your mind, people can see it again. It's all right. Linebacker, outside shade, rusher right in between, corner, safety. Again, if we're going center read, guess who's picking this up? This corner is staying here. I usually have this person lock up. I usually have my best man out here, trusting them, right?
Yeah.
But if we're here, linebacker, I already got this person, safety, this person, and corner is going to go back. Remember, because the center's going away from him.
Yeah.
It's covered already.
Yeah.
There you go. So that play could help out in many ways.
So this corner has to know, because sometimes people, the thing about over-the-top safety help, I feel like sometimes corners and linebackers rely too much on it. Sometimes, so for example, if you're this corner and the flow of the play goes away from you, this is probably you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So like, if you're going this way and it's a high-low, because the safety always has to help with high-lows.
With the flood, whatever flow of the plays going.
Exactly, because the safety can't just stay here, and he just stays here. Now, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So it's not always so rigid and so firm on the way. There's a theory on how to run the defense, but like every play is very fluid. Like things change, and you have to go find work. So this is a perfect example of, yes, on paper there is over-the-top help, but there's nothing threatening you under. Mm-hmm. So remember, there's always 2 or 3 assignments you can do in one play. It's not just one thing. It's not just stay short. It's not just stay deep. There's things you got to do. So that's why Manny's saying, like in this case, if you were thinking that question, like, oh, but why is he coming down? Because it's a high-low. You're playing off here, and that's, it's flooding to that side of the field.
Yeah, and then usually with that issue, because especially if you're playing with somebody new that you've never played with, it's gonna happen. So the only way to learn it is for it to happen and be like, hey, that's you. Yeah. Like, I know that's you. Like, it's happened to me before. They're like, oh, I thought you had back. Oh, I did, but the flow of the play went here.
Yep.
You're by yourself. And they're like, I understand now. So it usually takes a little bit of
some growing pains. A free
like,
touchdown, and you look at each other.
Yeah, you could tell them and tell them and tell them until it happens. It usually takes that. So I hope that helps.
We keep repeating ourselves, but I'm going to keep saying it. Alignment. The depth you line up with helps you see things, guys. So if you're shallow because you have over-the-top help and someone runs a backside post and the flow of the play goes that way, that is your fault, all right? So make sure you understand that you get at 7, backpedal, take some read steps, process what's going on. If nothing's threatening you, that's probably you, all right? So another option we can also do here as well, like I was saying earlier, you can lock up outside, like if depending on how wide these splits are, you can also lock up outside and banjo the middle, depending on if you have a good relationship with your linebacker or if you trust your linebacker to be in the open field. Because like we spoke earlier with the banjo question, the linebacker is going to be in some predicaments and some open space, and there's going to be some thinking required. So if you don't have that kind of faith in the linebacker, this is a lot better. Covering a dart is a lot easier than you guys being here with the whole field for playing 2-on-2. But if you and the linebacker trust each other and you feel like you can get that done, you can also lock up and play banjo as well. So those are two answers there.
Yeah, good. Hope that helps. Give that a try, and tell you this is a good foundation to follow along.
All right, so we're actually we're gonna shift the attention to offense now. Actually,
hey, I love it.
We finally got an offensive question. We don't get too many offensive. We're just fine.
Offensive play. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's a deep question, right?
Y'all better sell me. Woo! Money plays.
End zone offensive plays. So before we get into this, I was talking in Panama this weekend. Even if the game is a shootout, the extra points are crucial. Whether you're on offense trying to get them, or you're on defense trying to stop them, when you play a good team, it's going to come. You've been in great, crazy games for 20K, and they come down to extra points. You know what I'm saying? So your end zone, that's why Manny's saying you better pay me, because those offensive plays, you might think that 5-yard plays are not they don't matter. But that's when it comes down. Those when the games matter. Those 5 yards, those 2-point conversions, that kind of stuff. So
yeah, the higher level you get, those are the points that make a difference, man.
Yeah.
That when you lose by a point, 2 points, and then man, those are crucial, man.
Yeah, it's gonna boil down to that, man. So, so you want to get okay?
Go for it. Kick it up. Let's give a couple. We'll give a couple.
We'll give a couple. I'll give a little tidbits. Make sure you subscribe, right? We're giving you good stuff here. Yeah. Okay, so something that Drunky and I like to run, and people know that we run it, but they don't stop it because we run variations off of it. It's called deep threat, right? So this is now, if you're a quarterback and you don't trust anybody on your team with the ball, do not do this in crunch time at all. At all. Do not do this. All right. So center. Let's go wide receiver here. Okay, so the handoff. So we go here, back with 5-man. So right here, quarterback, boop, and then wide receiver. Okay, so this person back cone. This person goes front cone. Delay, backside slant, and then this person gives the handoff. Right. And the quarterback can either go throwback left, which if you know Trunky's a big guy, so he'll go throwback. But sometimes, which I love when it happens, he sees that it's open in the middle, and he goes up the middle.
Yeah, he gets it up. And then
I love throwing the big man an extra point or a touchdown.
Show Trunky some love.
This is so simple, but if I had to give it a percentage, it's like 80 to 90% successful. Yeah. Right? Because we've gotten it to the point, so this is first cone. This is first cone. This is back cone. So we've gotten it to the point to where if people play it correctly, right? If you shoot the front cone, you throw it over. Even if they go high-low and they play the front cone, back cone well, then the quarterback or that backside slant will be open. Or if he stays back and they cover it well, I throw it back to him. Then after the play breaks down, they go that way, they go that way, they go that way. I throw it back to the quarterback. This is open. Now I beat whoever went to me across the middle. Good luck. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's so many, you know what I'm saying? And it's so simple. Front cone, backside slant, handoff. Yeah. Like it's so simple, but it works really well.
Man. Yeah. And if you don't mind me just chiming in on
of course.
First, I gotta give credit to the people that created this play because we all have ran this play, but we call it deep threat for a reason. So the team that we copied it from, you can say we learned it from, that were called deep threats. So shout out to Lewis, Henry, everybody from back in this team. This was their play, and we had headaches covering for years, so we know how difficult it is. So props to you guys. Number 2, one of the main key components of this is understanding that this is always ran opposite of rusher. So if the rusher is here, you're running it that way. Rusher lies up here, you run it this way. Great point. So that way you're running away from the rusher. Now, can people adapt to you and then set up the linebacker to shoot right away? Okay, but then that's something that you adapt to afterwards, right? Where you can maybe take it and go back the other way, right? Yep. So that would be another adaptation, which we do, right? But yeah, like this is a phenomenal play. I mean, like Lou said, this is. I mean, like we really ran this play for years, and like you can still know it's coming and try to get up on the line. And you just do a quick dump, so it's up.
And like Manny said, so this person is Duke. So especially in 10-yard end zones, Duke and I already have the chemistry. If he sees someone sitting here, this is after we ran it a couple times, he'll jab and go that way. Yeah. You know, or sometimes if they're playing like this, because they know it's like he'll sit in the middle. Yeah. And he pretty much plays with the back. And then like Manny said, sometimes we'll do handoff and I go back this way and then we run it dart, corner. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many ways to, and then sometimes if someone's playing the line, Tronky, without even telling me, my quarterback will fake it. Then if he fakes it to me, since it's already a front corner, I'm not going to go to the same spot. I go throwback. So he fakes it to me, I go throwback, and then there's just so many things you can do.
There is so many. And I'm sorry, another key component, very important, the center can't jog, can't have. This is 150%. Like, because even if, like, I mean, you got to just jet over it because then you're the one that's going to cause the read for this guy and the quarterback. But then also, you not only just sprint, you have to be looking as you're sprinting because a lot of the times these people might back up and then it's just a quick dump. Yep. So this is a very key component.
Oh, one more point to this that we just I did this with Nico recently last weekend in Red Zone. He goes to me, if he's playing you hard here, you can ping it or China it, and that's exactly what I did. I ran really fast. They were there, and I just boop, and I just kind of went this way, and just easy pitch. So there's just so many things you can do.
But Give that a try.
Yeah.
Fantastic play.
Yeah, yeah.
Great job. That was beautiful.
You want to end it there or give them one or two more?
I'll do one.
You do one?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Why not?
You're getting two. You're getting two.
Yeah, you're getting two. Woo! Cash App. What's our Cash App?
We need to make a golden playbook. A golden playbook Cash App.
All right. So I mean, okay. Yeah, I like this one. Okay. This is one of. I mean, God, it's such a money play. Again, there's so much adaptations you could do for it. So this one we call Windows. This is like a huge play. So who could I give this one credit to? Give it to Rick. This was Rick. This is Rick. Rick really mastered that. Rick was a master of this one here. So this one, it could be just a simple play hitch. This will be front out, and a back door. I'm talking about back door grab, right? Yes. So it's very important. So this play right here, what happens is just opens up, and then you get a big. The reason we call the windows because that it literally feels like a window is opening up for you there.
Yep.
Okay. So this is a very important that these two guys right here, you get right to that front line, and then they jet outside. Like it's just, I mean, they get the hell out. So usually what happens is either this corner, so your reads are going to be, if this corner backs up, you might have the out right here, believe it or not. So this could be the primary read sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. So if this out, but then if you're seeing here, usually what happens is you have the people sitting in their zones. This is a common thing, especially when you get to higher levels, is you're going to get the zone. So this is a good zone breaker. So as you can see, boom, it opens it up. Everybody's got everybody covered. And then usually this guy's the one that's kind of sneaking around the back.
Yeah.
And then you get this big window right here for them to use. Yep. This is a great play.
I know you're probably thinking, if you've never run it, it's so simple. This thing is money. It is money. Yeah. Like if you read it correctly, it's money.
Yeah. Like money. You could probably run this as far as like, I mean, even to like 7 to 10 yards might be already pushing it, but 7 yards and in will be phenomenal because this is the key part is these two guys. So if they're too deep to run it out, the rush is going to be on top of you. It's never going to develop enough. So anywhere between 7 yards and in. Yeah. But if you're at that like just out of range, maybe you could cut it just a little bit shorter instead of like, hey, don't run all the way up, keep it a yard short, and then it could develop a little bit faster. Yeah. But this one right here, this is the part that you got to keep. You have to go. I mean, can you beat him inside? But the part is that you want this guy not to see you right here because this is the one that's seeing this out in front of him. So if you cross in front of him, he might just back up. Mm-hmm. So you want to get around this guy right here. Yep. So you want to try to get around as much as you can so then this guy doesn't see you creeping in. And even if he sees you, they might be a little bit too late, and it's window usually that's where the throw is right in this area.
And if it's international, you're fine. There's 10-yard end zones. But if you're playing in the States and it's a 7-yard end zone, just be careful because if I'm here, I'm bumping you out of bounds. Or try to, and then so just be careful if you're running that around the back to not get to go out and in.
Yeah. So I mean, guys,
you get two. You get two.
Those are really good. I could probably give you 5, 10 more that are fantastic, but we'll save those for a later date, and we'll save it for the Cash App.
Yeah, exactly.
Just kidding. Awesome, man. That was good. That's a hell of a play.
So I actually like this next question because it causes a lot of people headaches because I play center. So the question, guys, is if the center is the throwback, like on hike, obviously on hike because I'm not the center, but if the center is the throwback, who is responsible for that? So the reason why I love that question is because I play center and my quarterback, Drunky, every now and then he'll put me as a throwback and they're not sure, the linebacker's not sure if he's supposed to go or if the safety's supposed to go or that corner on that side is supposed to go. So we'll go over a little bit of different scenarios here. All right. So let's say it's like let's say it's bunch, right? We'll say this is the center. So if you're in a 2-2, right? All right. So if you're in a 2-2, if it's like this, you're like, oh, easy, Lou. This person goes. Now, where it causes issues are the routes behind the throwback, right? So sometimes you might call something to that same zone, right? So which is usually when quarterbacks call a throwback, is to open the field up a little bit. So let's say you do something like this way, right into that window, and maybe the quarterback can read, something like that. So if that corner shoots, then now that window's open, you know what I mean? So that's why sometimes, even though on paper, on a whiteboard, it looks very simple, sometimes that corner shoots, now the quarterback throws it to that window, and now you get like an easy amount of yardage, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes it depends on the defense. So here, if the corner shoots up here, so what do you want the rest of the combos to be? Let me see. Like a hitch or something?
Yeah, I mean...
or maybe even dart him. right? So what do you guys do? You know what I mean? So you see how that can cause an issue where people have to kind of rock over. Now, if you're in a 3-1, that's a little easier. But I'm just calling 4-2-2 for a bunch because that's a lot of people like to run that sometimes. So depending on the situation, so here, if they're in a 2-2, the safety has to come down, or like the rusher can go from 1 to 2, right? And then linebacker replaces, or they can cause a lot of headaches for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. No, it definitely is it's obviously is a more advanced type of throwback play.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the 2-2 defense. Like it just
here 3-1 would be a little easier.
Yeah. The 2-2 is very difficult, especially there's so much space. Literally you can see how much space there is to blocks in the middle.
Exactly.
But fundamentally, I would always do the left-right situation.
Mm-hmm.
So you might not.
The whole thing, or just the defense?
Yeah, let's do the whole thing. So that way we'll switch it up on the defense too. Thank you. So yeah, let's say that is even if it's just a standard formation, because this is probably the most common one. I would think the tight ones will probably be a little bit more advanced teams that are doing that.
Yeah.
But let's say that this guy, right? Let's say they go back here, right? So I'm a big fan. I told you of the left right. That's pretty much all I like to do in a sense, and then I'll adjust off of that. So this happens. It's irrelevant on what it is, because this is really here. No, the play doesn't matter. So if this happens, this is very difficult for the rusher. So one of the things, like if I start catching on that, they're getting past the rusher and the rusher's missing it, then sometimes I'll have this guy stick with it. But I usually try to split them. I'll tell, especially the first time it happens, most likely he's not going to see it because he's not focused. He's so focused on getting to the rusher, right, that it might pass him.
That happens.
So then you just got to tell him, hey, do me a favor. Whenever they're in that formation again, take a little half second and out of your peripheral, see if that's coming back towards you, because then I usually just do this, and then the linebacker will turn into the rusher, right? Again, the linebacker, like you said earlier, is such an important role. He's not just a heavy set guy sitting around the middle, right?
Correct.
He's going to sometimes play a little bit high-low. Sometimes he's going to have to rush. So it's a very versatile player. That's what this guy's so key in 5 men. This is such a big role. So I usually will split it left-right. So if this happens, this guy will pick up that throwback. This guy will become the rusher. If he goes back this way in the opposite direction, then linebacker will pick him up. He has to be aware of that, right? In a sense, both of these guys' communication is key. And then this guy just continues to do his job, in a sense.
Yeah. So left-right, I know that this seems so easy on a whiteboard. People mess up left-right a lot.
Yeah.
Even I have trials next week. People are going to mess up left-right. It happens, man, because sometimes you're thinking, all right, I missed that person's flag, and the rusher's thinking, all right, I'm going to get this person on third down, but then something happens, and you forget the safety told you, if you see this right here, go to this side, and let the linebacker replace you, and then now both of you are going here, you're crossing up, they get extra time, so believe it or not, it happens a lot. So make sure you communicate, you talk to each other on what to do when the center goes to a throwback to a certain side. So let's say they're in a 2-1, right? So let's say like this with the safety. Would there be a scenario where you want that corner to go, or you prefer for the linebacker and rusher to deal with it, and then the DBs just kind of play off them?
Yeah, no. The only situation that I would have the DB go if they send 3. And I was just thinking about it as that happened, right?
Some Mexico stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because then, Mexico already adapted to us because they know this is the type of defense we're facing. Hey, let's throw an extra wrinkle, right? Because then it's this guy's so far off of this guy, there's let's throw it back. And then this guy's usually stuck with him, so then he goes, and then now he has an extra man here. Yep. So this is when this guy would shoot, and then that would be the only way that I would want the DB to go. That would probably be the only way that I would have him go. Or if this guy went straight down too, if he came back on the same concept, it doesn't matter where it comes from, right? Let's say this guy comes back, then he's already here. You can see it right there. But it's letting him know too, hey, if your guy goes back, which happened a couple of times with us in playing against Mexico, is that you have to adapt. It's hey, you got to stay alert, because if this happens, they're probably going to send that third one, and then this guy will lock up towards this guy here.
Yeah. And if it's a longer situation, further where the ball can travel a lot, I personally don't mind doing a 2 against 3. But if it's any other play, that person needs to go, because you don't want your rusher and one other person, the linebacker, going back and forth running suicides just for one play. You know what I mean? That's hectic, and it's a headache.
It's hard to cover more than 4 seconds, man. It's very difficult.
Yeah, man. But
it's good.
Yeah, that's good. All right. So the next one is a perfect segue actually into this. If a wide receiver goes in motion and gets a handoff or a backwards pass and becomes the throwback, who is responsible for that? So the question's a little vague, but yeah, the question's a little vague, but it is. There are offensive plays that do that. I've seen Japan do all kinds of motions and trickery and all kinds of like Japan. I've seen some plays where I'm like, wow, that's a headache just seeing the play drawn up. So there are a number of ways to do this. So because the question's a little vague on the defense you're in, so we can throw a couple scenarios in there. So let's say right here, center. So motion, right here. So we can go with the handoff first if you'd like.
Yeah, let's go with
right. Okay, so that's a perfect segue to what Manny was talking about earlier with the linebacker and rusher. Right, so let's say we are in a 2-1. All right. Okay, so as that motion comes in, right here, you have two options. Either this person stays locked, or if you're in zone, you can just simply bump over, right, responsibilities. So right here, the rusher can just take this angle here. Remember, you have to be able to play left-right, though. Right? The rusher can come at this angle, and then the linebacker can go to original quarterback, right? But you have to talk to each other as that motion comes, because sometimes they're sprinting. As long as you don't go forward, that's legal. So this person can sprint as hard as they can and try to catch you off guard before you guys can even talk to each other. Is there anything you want to?
Yeah, that's a good way to play it. You know, another way would be the same thing, kind of like you just said, just bump over, right? So then what happens once this corner comes over here, bumps, now this guy will become the rusher technically in a sense, and then this guy becomes a linebacker in a sense, you could say, right? So then as you come over, this linebacker will pick up this motion, and let's say I think if part of it is what if he becomes the throwback. So let's say even if they fake it, right, and he goes backwards for some reason, right? So then this corner picks up the center, and then eventually this guy will have to go here in a sense. I'm sorry, this guy will become the rusher, and then this guy becomes the secondary linebacker where he will pick up the throwback whenever it gets thrown in international play, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like you said, just bumping it over one play, understanding that in that sense. If they hand it over down, even better. Then he could just shoot right away, and then this guy will pick up the backside, right?
Yeah.
These two roles are so huge and
so important. So shout out to Hoosh and Pablo. They have a very good and Cascudo too, the head coach for the national team. They have a very good thing going on in the backfield. So sometimes Pablo, so Hoosh is that quarterback, sometimes Pablo would come in motion, right? And they would have a throwback here. Right? So instead of this guy being here, they would have a throwback right here. So Hoosh gives the handoff to Pablo. Pablo can either turn, and then Pablo pitches it back to this player, right? So as he's going across the field, Hoosh goes this way. You get ready for this, right? So this is annoying defensively. So Hoosh gives the ball to Pablo, right? And then Pablo gets the handoff this way. Now, Pablo can either run or pitch the ball back to this person and then continue to run on a wheel route. Mind you, he has momentum. He is a fast player, right? So now this guy's fast as well. And this guy's fast as well. So now as he gives the handoff, he can either pitch it back. He can either run or just pitch it back and then continue to run. So now, as you can see, that's a whole cluster, right? So, do you want to chime in on this?
Yeah,
it's a good play.
It's a play. Shout out to Deep Threat. This is one of their plays too that they run a lot too. And then, it's a great variation of it. But the problem with these,
it's called box, right? Caja?
Yeah, we call it box, exactly.
Box, yeah.
We call it caja. So one of the things with this one is that, it's so difficult that you could set it up, but when you have athletes like Hoosh and Pablo, and you out there, it's like, yeah, I could still send you up, but can he still run around me? Yeah, I can't help you there. Like, I could try to place you correctly, but, man, like, you still got to make the play. And it's like, man, it's mano a mano at that point. Oh, man, I'm sorry. Like, it's just sometimes they're better athletes. It's just the way it is. But as far as if you're all on the same level, it should work hopefully the same way that we just described it, to stop it. But, yeah, sometimes you just got Yeah, because I get that question a lot too. It's like, hey, how do you stop pushing? I'm like, you don't. You don't.
Yeah,
You don't.
you
It's
slow
like,
them down someplace, but you
hope
don't
to
stop.
slow them down,
Right.
but it's like sometimes you got athletes that you just like. It's like, hey, how do you stop a jump ball with Megatron? It's like, man, you put two people on top of each other and pray. Like, yeah, like there's, man. Sometimes you just nothing you can do. But yeah, no, nothing else I would add. I mean, it's fantastic play, and again, it's just using their athletic abilities to make a play afterwards, even if the positioning is right.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do, unfortunately, at that point. Just pray and hope that they make a mistake with the pressure that you're putting on.
Exactly. And then if it ever happens, I've seen this in youth or beginner adults leagues sometimes. When there is a throwback or when there is a any kind of situation in the backfield or a handoff, and you see that nobody shoots, don't let the person just sit there with the ball.
Please don't.
If you're not covering a route, it's you probably. It's you. If you're moving around like, oh man, someone has the ball in the backfield,
Better go.
and one Mississippi, two Mississippi, and that person's patting
gosh.
the ball, it's you. Go get the throwback or the handoff. You know what I'm saying? Or even if it's, there's just, you gotta go. You can't let the guy sit with the ball with the option to throw or pass and nobody's pressuring the ball, so that's, you gotta stop that. For
Gotcha,
sure.
you got it. All right, brothers. So
All right.
next one we got.
Okay. So this was actually a variation. So this is a part B or part 2 of this question about the motions and stuff like that. So they said that they usually send their nearest DB, to the throwback when it's when people go in motion or they go to the throwback and stuff. But they said that sometimes they give up a corner or an out behind them. They said that if they're doing something wrong, if there's a better way to do it. So earlier, remember how I was talking about like when I had the bunch and when it was like a dart, a drag, an out with the center or whatever going this way. That's what I was talking about with sometimes when you leave your zone immediately to shoot a throwback, you leave a window open. That's just part of the game. You know what I'm saying? So like I was saying in previous videos, sometimes the rusher can go 1 to 2, and what that solves is that, right? So you going from 1 to 2 holds that window a little longer, and then when that person goes 1 to 2, then the linebacker replaces, and this person never moves.
Yeah.
And they stay in coverage. So you can do that if, let's say, this person's not the best flag puller, let's say it's youth or adult, and like people have different skill sets, and you don't want to send them, do that. Go 1 to 2, linebacker replaces, and it takes a little longer here, but at least this person stays in coverage, which is what you want. So I guess short answer, I would say that, if you want to protect the coverage, just go 1 to 2. Replace with the linebacker, and then DB stay in coverage, I would say.
Yeah. When you take that piece out, man, I mean, you're opening up a huge window. So I would tell you not to move that piece. If possible, as much as you can. Try not to make that window open so fast for them.
Because luckily with USA, we did something different, which at first I thought, man, that's kind of weird. But we didn't take a true linebacker to Finland last year. So we actually had a corner. But, we're all athletes and everyone plays very well with each other. But we actually didn't have a true linebacker. So we were never worried about someone not being in coverage or someone shooting down or someone, you know what I'm saying? So we actually shoot throwbacks and handoffs right away. And whoever's left to cover, you just cover. Like cover space and figure it out. You know what I mean? But not every country has the same skill sets. Not every country has the same football IQ. So you don't have to do it the way we do it. But we wouldn't do 1 to 2. Usually we just send whoever, suffocate. Yeah, suffocate. First of all, we're happy the quarterback doesn't have the ball anymore. That's their best passer, right?
I was about to say that,
yeah. So someone else has the ball. Now pressure them right away. Maybe they throw a bad throw, which we've all seen happen. Maybe they throw a bad throw and get a pick, But if this person has extra time, sometimes, it can be counterproductive and, they can throw.
Sometimes we want this person to have the ball, right? But there's some teams in Mexico, like Mexico brought 2 quarterbacks the last time. So it's like, then they have 2 quarterbacks. But then you got to be aware of that too.
Yeah.
So who's this personnel? Can this guy really throw the ball? I like to see it. Sometimes I'll let it happen to be like, oh, we want this guy throwing the ball. So if it happens again, let him be, and then we'll take our rush the way that we normally do.
Exactly.
But great description on that one. All right.
So last but not least, what coverage do you run versus a team that goes short often, which is very common in international play?
Yeah.
We run man to stop all hitches, which is funny. We talked about all hitches last time. Yeah. We run man to stop hitches, but then we get beat deep sometimes. After they get beat deep, the DBs play scared and they give too much cushion on short to medium routes. Yeah. So he was asking more, I guess, from a DB standpoint, like how should they line up? What should they teach the DBs, or are they running the wrong coverage? So that was a good question because that's part of being a DB, man. Like sometimes you're going to get beat deep.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're going to give up short stuff. That's part of the game, man.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't mind, I'll just
Absolutely.
give my 2 cents.
Fire off.
One of the things I would probably say is to try to have either one or two of your guys, probably one, to be really aggressive. Like whoever their main guy is, maybe as a safety, keep it as a man, but maybe just a little bit shade over the top over that one specific one that you think they're going to target.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can't be scared, man. You just can't. You got to get that out of there. Like you're going to make mistakes. You got to get that mindset. DB or just, hey, you got to be last time, let it go. Yeah. But you can't give up pitches all the way downfield, even though you probably could, but a lot of people, they're just they won't take it all the way down the field. But play aggressive, go for it. And if anything, you tell them, hey, Lulu, this play aggressive. I got you a little bit. And then maybe you could play off of yours a little bit, right? If you're man to man, or have everybody lock up, right? Like sometimes I'll do that, like everybody lock up, including the rusher, lock up with the center. Blah, 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 blah. I'll give you some good luck, and then I'll shade over a little bit of the top if that gets to that point. So I would just say that is like either play around with who's a little bit more aggressive in that sense, and they kind of shade over the top a little bit to try to take it away. But you can't be scared. You can't be scared. You're gonna get beat. People are gonna make catches. The game is designed very offensively, like the rules are. So it's like this game is geared to score. So don't be mad. Don't be sad that you're gonna get scored. Like it's part of the game.
Yeah.
That's the only
if you
way
get a stop per half, like 1 to 2 stops per half, you should win.
Yeah. You're good.
Straight up.
You're good. You're good. 100%.
So that doesn't mean you give up 0 points. That's very, very. It's almost impossible. You know what I mean? Like versus people that know how to play, it's really tough. You just got to capitalize on their mistakes, and then hopefully you get that stop. But so a couple tips for DBs, right? So line up, give or take about 7 yards off, right? Give or take about 7 yards off, and then 7 yards off, and then 1 yard inside, right? So you want to be able to offense, defense, right? You want to be able to still have inside leverage, right? So your body be inside, like shoulder to shoulder, right? So you stop like those, or you have a better chance of stopping those higher percentage throws. Now, when the person is pushing vertical at you, right, you need to take 3 read steps, give or take. 3 read steps, right? So what do those 3 steps do for you? Read, right? So you see the tempo. Like a person is not going to run a slant the same way they run a post. No, I hope not, right? So this velocity or this push or this is going to look different from this, right? So you use those 3 steps to see what they are doing. So don't just down to hut and stare at the quarterback. Please do not do that, right? Get your eyes on your work a little bit, right? So you can tell in man-to-man what they're going to do, right? So if you're a man, 3 read steps. If they are pushing vertical, then you need to speed up your back pedal. So now you go faster as you back pedal, right? Now, the magic number is 3 as well. So once they get within about 3 steps close to you, so when they get into like this little window right here, and they get 3 steps close to you, you need to flip your hips, right? If you do that when you are even, they are leaving, right? That is a saying here in the United States. If I'm even, I'm leaving. If you wait till this point to flip your hips, that person's gone. You got to hold them, tackle them. So you need to do that's the magic number right now. 3 steps for the read steps, 3 steps away to flip, and you protect yourself on those 3 read steps. So now we cover the deep on the short routes, right? On those 3 read steps, the reason why you got to take nice and slow read steps, because if it is a slant, if it is a hitch, what are you ready to do? You're ready to break. You're ready to go forward. But if you're backpedaling super fast and they run a hitch, that's how you get all that separation. You know what I mean? So you can't play bail. You can't play everything short. It's not a one-size-fits-all. So try to just follow a set of rules, and we just gave it to you. Patient. 7 off, 1 inside, 3 read steps. When he gets 3 steps close to you, you flip your hips.
He went really deep on that. You could tell you're a DB coach. He went technical on us. I'm like, don't be scared, man. That's it. Yeah, no, that's very good technical advice, by the way. That was great. It's way deeper in there than they asked. So, yeah, alignment is key. Again, from back to the first question. Yeah. Alignment is key. Read steps are huge, right? Yeah. You're not playing too far off, and don't be scared. Yeah. You're gonna get. You're gonna give up.
That's huge.
You're gonna give up a hitch. My goodness. Yeah. It's okay. It's a very difficult play. Yeah. So yeah, I hope that helps, guys. And just do your best when it comes to like that. Like come up and pull flags. Yeah. And I told you like a couple of videos ago, it's very rare. Like you'll get a couple of good teams, like high level teams that'll be able to take that, but quarterbacks are so hard, man. They want to take that deep ball, man.
Yeah.
So it's like be okay with giving up a hitch every once in a while. Like it's okay, but trust me, that quarterback's trying to bait you exactly what's happening to you. That like after a while you're like, okay, I'm gonna come up, and then that's when they set you up. Yeah. So it's just understand it's okay. Give it up for a little bit, and then if it's too much after a while, like you went a whole half, it's too late now. Then you gotta play aggressive, right? So. Great technical advice.
And then before we head out on this too, he also asked like what coverage. It has nothing to do, not nothing to do, but it has more to do with like how you line up and like Manny said, your mentality, right? Having short-term memory and understanding. And then in previous, look through our previous videos because we talked about the rules to calling a defense. Yeah. Each defense, like a 2, because you notice today our answers were 2-1 for a lot of things. That's because it's such a great defense. Yeah. So if you don't know what that is, or you want to see more in depth on what we talked about 2-2, 3-1, all that stuff. And so go to our previous post. If you found it useful, share it, send it to your flag football friends because everyone likes to score touchdowns, but a lot of people don't talk about defense, man. And that's what wins you championships, honestly. Yeah, man. Good stuff, Luke. That's it for today.
That was great, brother. That was awesome. Good stuff. See you next time, everybody. Keep sending those questions. That was great, brother.
That was smooth, bro.
Yeah, no, that was good.
And
we
did more questions.
A lot more, man. Yeah, this was great. Yeah, man, we're getting a lot of good traction out here, man. Right? We're getting a lot of good plays sent and everything, which I love that. Like sending the plays are